We have in our world a challenge, meaning some people want to be motivated. They want to be driven by necessity or by potential benefit or by moral motivations, or they want to be driven by financial need or motivations. And that is a portion of the human process. There are many other people that want to be inspired. They want to be presented with a clear vision of human potential for the future, something that they can want, that they can desire, that they can move towards, they can gravitate towards, they can resonate with, they can find their passion in. And they're motivated in those ways, or that's inspirational motivation. Both of these types of motivation or types of movement and mobilization of humanity are necessary to meet. They're necessary to foster. They're necessary to fund, to fuel, to nourish, to fan the flames of, in order to get present moment mobilization and unity and empowerment and manifestation of solutions to climate change and generation of a new life process for humanity. Some people might say, well, no, we should be practical. We should be realistic. We should motivate people with statements of, look at the fires in California, look at the starvation and the heat in other areas of the world. Look at the challenges that climate change is producing in terms of COVID. We should be driven by pain, by suffering, by fear or anxiety or stress, or perceived potential loss. And others would say, no, I don't want to be driven by that, because I just become so afraid that I become stymied and paralyzed in my fear, my worry, my anxiety, and not knowing what to do. Therefore, give me a vision. I can only be motivated by a vision. It's got to set my heart on fire. It's got to be my passion. It's got to be who I want to be, what I want to have happen in the world. We would suggest that both of these are relevant. To say one is true and the other is not would be to exclude a major portion of humanity and their key core motivations. It doesn't matter whether they're spiritual, emotional, or mental motivations or tribal motivations. If we do not utilize all of the fuel available to us within the human life process, how are we going to fully manifest all of the co-creative potential of humanity to generate a new life process for humanity? We would suggest that in this Mobius strip of possibility, that education, facilitation, collaborative, conscious collaborative modeling, workshops, all of this is going to be necessary. An infrastructure of evolution of species consciousness, the Chloe system and the social movement engine, are necessary, and that we can't leave out any part of the equation here and still end up with an optimal result. There are many people who live paycheck to paycheck, day by day, in constant fear for their future and for their families' futures. And they say, if I were to take my focus off of my present moment of making money and holding down a job and keeping my family fed and clothed, everything would fall apart. Very challenging to say to them, oh, we've got this wonderful future that you could have, if you just shift all your energy and focus off taking care of your family. How do you communicate such a message constructively? So all must be met in where they are, and simultaneously, gradually, in the time that they can be transformed and their situations their pain and suffering can be resolved, then they can be open to a vision. Then they can be inspired. Then they can have more bandwidth to recognize their human potential, their soul potential. So this is a constantly evolving process. And we recognize that, and we do want to motivate, unite, and mobilize humanity. And we also want to inspire humanity to recognize their true co-creative potential.